My dear friends, have you ever wondered why we break down emotionally, feel lost, or feel unappreciated? It's because we spend our entire life thinking about everyone except the one person who needs us the most, ourselves. Today, I want to tell you something simple yet life changing. Think about yourself always, not selfishly, but wisely. Because if you don't take care of your inner world, no outer world will ever feel right. When I say you can't pour from an empty cup, I'm talking about one of the deepest truths of human life. Think about it. Every morning you wake up with a certain amount of emotional energy, mental clarity, and physical strength. And throughout the day, people keep taking from that cup. Someone needs your help. Someone needs your time. Someone needs your advice. Someone needs you to listen. Someone needs you to fix their problems. And because you are a good-hearted person, you keep giving and giving without realizing that your cup is getting emptier by the hour. But here's the real problem. Society praises you when you give everything away, but the same society disappears when you fall apart. You cannot live a joyful life when you are constantly exhausted inside. You cannot be kind to others when you are frustrated within yourself. You cannot even think clearly when your mind is drowning in stress. And yet, many of us continue to drain ourselves, believing that sacrificing our well-being makes us more valuable. But what truly makes you valuable is not how much you give away. It's how well you take care of your inner world so that what you give comes from abundance, not desperation. Imagine carrying a glass of water. If it's full, you can share it with grace. But if it's almost empty, every drop you give away hurts you. This is why people feel resentful, tired, irritated, and emotionally overwhelmed. It's not because they are bad, it's because they are empty. When you don't refill your cup through rest, boundaries, silence, reflection, prayer, meditation, or simply doing what nourishes your soul, life becomes heavier. Even small problems look huge, and relationships start breaking because you have nothing left to offer. Taking care of yourself is not selfish, it is essential. When you refill your cup, you don't just become stronger for yourself. You become a better parent, a better partner, a better friend, a better human being. Your inner peace becomes more stable. Your decisions become wiser. Your relationships become clearer. You stop reacting emotionally and start responding consciously. You stop giving from pressure and start giving from presence. And here's the truth we often forget. People love you, but no one can refill your cup for you. Not your family, not your friends, not your partner. Only you can decide to rest, to pause, to breathe, to say no, to protect your energy, to step back when needed. Only you can choose to create a life where you are not constantly running on empty. When your cup is full, you glow differently. You walk differently. You speak differently. You love differently. You live differently. Because you are no longer surviving, you are living with purpose, clarity, and peace. That is why, my friends, always remember, before giving to the world, give to yourself. Before showing kindness to others, show kindness to your own heart. Before healing others, heal the spaces inside you. Because a full cup doesn't just nurture you, it nourishes everyone connected to you. When we talk about self-respect being your responsibility, we are talking about one of the most sacred truths of life. Respect is not something you beg for, negotiate for, or wait for. It is something you quietly build within yourself. The world mirrors how you treat yourself, and the moment you allow someone to cross a boundary, you silently teach them that this behavior is acceptable. Many people don't hurt you intentionally. They hurt you because they see that you won't stop them. And the longer you ignore disrespect, the stronger it grows until you begin to believe that maybe you deserve it, which is the greatest lie your mind can ever tell you. Self-respect begins with awareness. It begins with recognizing when your heart feels heavy after a conversation, when your mind feels disrespected after someone's tone, when your peace feels disturbed after someone's attitude. We often brush these feelings aside, thinking, it's okay, maybe it's my fault, maybe I'm overreacting, maybe I should stay quiet. But every time you silence your intuition, you weaken your relationship with yourself. You start shrinking to make others comfortable. You start accepting treatment that slowly breaks your spirit. And one day, you find yourself wondering how you reach this point of emotional exhaustion. When you take responsibility for your self-respect, you stop apologizing for what you need. You stop justifying why you deserve basic kindness. You stop letting people enter your life with chaos and walk out without accountability. And that shift doesn't happen loudly, it happens quietly. It happens the day you choose not to respond to disrespectful messages. It happens the day you choose to walk away from a conversation that lowers your dignity. It happens the day you stop chasing people who don't value your presence. It happens the day you decide, I will not allow my heart to be a doormat for anyone. People treat you according to the standards you set. If you allow someone to speak to you rudely, they will. If you allow someone to take advantage of your kindness, they will. If you allow someone to stay in your life without giving you respect, they will. But the moment you decide that your peace, your dignity, and your mental well-being come first, the entire dynamic changes. You teach the world how to treat you by showing them how you treat yourself, with grace, with firmness, with clarity, and with self-love. Self-respect also means understanding that not every person deserves a seat at your table. Some people come into your life only to take, only to drain, only to use your goodness for their comfort. And if you keep allowing these people to stay, you will keep losing pieces of yourself. But the moment you start valuing your worth, the moment you start respecting your own heart, those people either evolve to meet your standards or they naturally walk away because they can no longer benefit from your silence. Taking responsibility for self-respect is not about ego, it's about protection. It's about protecting your mind from unnecessary stress, your heart from unnecessary pain, and your life from unnecessary drama. It's about creating a space within yourself where you feel safe, grounded, and whole. And when you build that inner strength, you become unshakable. You no longer break easily. You no longer beg for love. You no longer tolerate disrespect in the name of attachment, fear, or loneliness. Remember this deeply. You teach people how to treat you. And the first lesson begins with how you treat yourself behind closed doors. The words you use for yourself, the boundaries you hold for yourself, the courage you show for yourself. When you respect yourself, the entire world learns to respect you too. When we say, saying no is not a sin, we're talking about one of the most misunderstood truths of emotional well-being. From childhood, many of us are trained to believe that a good person is the one who always says yes, yes to favors, yes to responsibilities, yes to commitments, yes to people's demands, yes to their expectations. And slowly, without realizing it, we become people who fear disappointing others more than we fear losing ourselves. But let me tell you something very important. Every time you say yes to something that hurts you, drains you, or burdens you, you are actually saying no to your own peace. Assess The reason people struggle to say no is not because they don't want to, it's because they are afraid. Afraid of being misunderstood, afraid of being labeled rude, afraid of hurting someone's feelings, afraid of not being seen as helpful or kind. But kindness without boundaries becomes a weakness that others exploit. And when you keep giving permission for others to take your time, your energy, your emotions, you end up carrying a weight that was never meant for you. Saying no is hard because it forces you to choose yourself. And choosing yourself feels uncomfortable when you've lived your whole life pleasing others. But here's the truth. People who genuinely love you, care for you, and value you will never hate you for setting limits. Only those who benefit from your lack of boundaries will get upset when you finally say no. Most of us have been in situations where someone asks us for something, a favor, time, money, emotional support. And even though we are tired, overwhelmed, or already burdened, we still say yes. And afterward, we feel drained, resentful, or guilty for not being able to fulfill the expectation properly. This inner conflict happens because your heart knows the truth that yes was against your well-being, that yes was forced, that yes was unnatural, and anything unnatural sooner or later creates emotional damage. Learning to say no is not about rejecting people, it's about respecting yourself. It's about acknowledging that your energy is not unlimited. Your emotional space is not infinite. Your mental bandwidth is not unbreakable. You need space to breathe, to rest, to recover, to live your own life without carrying burdens that don't belong to you. Imagine your life as a house with rooms. Every time you say yes to someone who doesn't value your time, it's like handing them a key to your private room. And the more keys you give away without thinking, the more crowded, noisy, and chaotic your inner world becomes. But when you start saying no, firmly, gently, respectfully, you are essentially saying, my space matters, my peace matters, my time matters, my mental health matters. Some people might say, but isn't saying no selfish? And here is the beautiful truth. Saying no becomes selfish only when your yes hurts someone, not when your yes hurts you. Protecting your peace is not selfish. Setting boundaries is not selfish. Choosing to rest is not selfish. Saying no to emotional manipulation, guilt tripping, or pressure is not selfish. It is self-respect. When you develop the courage to say no, you begin to attract better relationships. You stop being surrounded by people who only come to you when they need something. You stop feeling like you are responsible for everyone's happiness. You stop tracking your worth through how much you sacrifice for others. Instead, you create a life where your relationships have balance, mutual respect, and genuine understanding. And here's something magical that happens when you start saying no. You create room for the right yes. A yes that aligns with your values. A yes that brings you joy. A yes that supports your growth. A yes that feels light, not heavy. A yes that comes from clarity, not pressure. A yes that is yours, not forced. So remember this deeply. Every no you say to what drains you is actually a yes to what heals you. A yes to rest. A yes to self-respect. A yes to emotional freedom. A yes to your mental health. Saying no is not just a sentence. It is a boundary, a protection, a declaration of self-worth. And the day you learn to say it confidently, your entire life starts moving toward balance, peace, and authenticity. When we say rest is not laziness, we are challenging one of the biggest illusions of modern life. Today, people glorify exhaustion. They wear tiredness like an achievement. They treat burnout like a badge of honor. They think the busier they look, the more valuable they are. And in this race of constant doing, constant producing, constant proving, they forget that they are human beings, not machines. Rest has become something people feel guilty about, as if relaxing for a moment means they are falling behind. But the truth is the opposite. You don't fall behind when you rest. You fall behind when you ignore rest. Your mind, your body, your emotions, your spirit, they are not built to run endlessly without pause. Even your phone needs charging. Even your car needs fuel. Even your heart pauses between beats. Everything in nature follows a rhythm of work and rest. The trees don't bear fruit all year. The oceans don't stay still. The sun doesn't shine at night. There is a cycle for everything, except in our lives, where we try to keep going non-stop. And that's why so many people feel empty, irritated, confused, overwhelmed, and disconnected. Not because they are weak, but because they are tired, deeply tired. Rest is not something you do when you are finished with your work. Rest is something you do so you can continue your work well. Without rest, your clarity suffers, your patience weakens, your creativity dries up, your decisions become emotional instead of wise. You start reacting instead of responding. You lose your spark, your enthusiasm, and your ability to feel joy. That is what happens when you deny your mind the pause it desperately needs. Some people believe resting is wasting time. But let me ask you, what is more wasteful? Resting for an hour or working for 5 hours with a tired mind that cannot even focus? Rest is not the enemy of productivity. Rest is the foundation of productivity. When you rest, your mind resets, your heart feels lighter, your body regains strength, and your soul becomes peaceful again. Rest makes you more present, more balanced, more aware, and more resilient. There is a kind of rest that sleep alone cannot give you. The rest where you disconnect from noise. The rest where you pause your responsibilities. The rest where you stop absorbing the emotions of others. The rest where you simply sit with yourself, breathe, and allow your inner world to settle. Sometimes you are not tired because you did too much. You are tired because you did too much for others and nothing for yourself. Rest also means stepping back from toxic situations. It means choosing silence when your emotions are loud. It means giving space to your heart when it's overwhelmed. It means saying, I cannot carry this today. Rest is not just physical, it is emotional, mental, and spiritual. Your mind needs rest from overthinking. Your heart needs rest from hurt. Your spirit needs rest from chaos. Your life needs rest from pressure. And here's the deeper truth. When you don't allow yourself to rest, life will force you to. Stress will force you to. Exhaustion will force you to. Illness will force you to. Burnout will force you to. Resting voluntarily is wisdom. Resting after breaking down is consequence. One empowers you, the other weakens you. Rest is not laziness, it is respect. Respect for your body, respect for your mind, respect for your emotions, respect for the gift of life you have been given. You don't need to earn rest. You don't need permission to rest. You don't need to justify your rest. You deserve rest simply because you are human. And something beautiful happens when you rest properly. You return to life with strength. You return with clarity. You return with a peaceful heart. You return with better judgment. You return as the best version of yourself. Rest doesn't take you away from your goals. It prepares you to reach them with confidence and calmness. So remember this, rest is not laziness. Rest is healing. Rest is growth. Rest is survival. Rest is wisdom. And the more you honor your need for rest, the more balanced, joyful, and powerful your life becomes. When we say, not everyone deserves access to your heart, We are speaking about one of the most emotional, painful, and liberating truths of life. Your heart is the most sensitive, sacred space you carry within yourself. It holds your dreams, your fears, your wounds, your memories, your hopes, your insecurities, your tenderness, your love. And yet, most people open this sacred space to anyone who shows a little attention, a little affection, or a little temporary interest. We allow people into our inner world without checking if they have the maturity to handle it, the sincerity to value it, or the integrity to protect it. And that is where so much of our hurt begins. Not everyone who smiles at you has good intentions. Not everyone who talks sweetly to you has a pure heart. Not everyone who wants to be close to you truly understands what closeness means. Some people want access to your heart only to satisfy their curiosity. They don't want connection, they want information. They want to know your weaknesses, your emotions, your secrets, your concerns, not because they want to support you, but because they want something to talk about or something to use when things don't go their way. You must understand that your heart is not a public place. It is not a space for everyone to walk into freely. It is not a diary for others to read whenever they want. And every time you allow the wrong person inside, you pay the price with your peace. When someone who doesn't value your heart gets too close, they damage your trust. They confuse your emotions. They shake your confidence. They make you doubt your own worth. They create wounds that take months, sometimes years, to heal. The wrong people don't just break your heart, they break the way you see yourself. This is why protecting your heart is not cold-heartedness. It is wisdom, it is maturity, it is emotional intelligence. Not everyone deserves to know what you're going through. Not everyone deserves to hear your deepest pain. Not everyone deserves your vulnerability. Vulnerability is powerful, but only when shared with the right people. People who can hold your words gently, who can support you without judgment, who can listen without using your truth against you later. Some people come close to you because they are lonely, not because they love you. Some come close because they want attention, not because they want connection. Some come close because they like your energy, not because they value your presence. And when their temporary needs are fulfilled, they leave, leaving you with questions, emotional damage, and self-doubt. But understand this clearly: their leaving is not your failure. Your mistake was giving them access to a place they never earned. Protecting your heart doesn't mean shutting people out. It means filtering who gets in. It means learning to differentiate between those who genuinely care and those who only pretend to. It means observing behavior instead of believing words. It means giving people access step by step, not all at once. The right people will understand your boundaries. The wrong ones will complain about them. And that alone tells you everything you need to know. One of the greatest signs of growth is when you stop letting temporary people make permanent damage. When you stop chasing those who don't appreciate you. When you stop allowing people to treat your heart like an open door. When you finally realize that affection without consistency is manipulation, attention without effort is nothing, and love without respect is empty. The people who truly deserve access to your heart are the ones who value your emotions, who stay gentle even when you're not at your best, who show up not only during your happy days, but also in your storms, who protect your vulnerabilities as if they were their own. These people don't drain you, they nourish you. They don't confuse you, they give you clarity. They don't break your peace, they add to it. They don't make you feel insecure, They make you feel safe. And remember this deeply, your heart is a gift. Your loyalty is a privilege. Your presence is valuable. Your love is rare. Not everyone deserves what you carry inside you. You don't have to apologize for being selective. You don't have to feel guilty for protecting your peace. You don't have to explain why you guard your heart more carefully now. You learned the hard way that not every hand that reaches out should be allowed to hold you. Not every soul that knocks should be invited in. Your heart becomes stronger, not when you close it forever, but when you open it wisely, when you choose quality over quantity, when you choose depth over attention, when you choose authenticity over temporary excitement. Because at the end of the day, the people who deserve your heart will never demand entry. They will earn it through their presence, their consistency, and their truth. And that, my dear friend, is the art of emotional maturity, understanding that your heart is precious, and only those who respect its value should ever be allowed close enough to touch it. When we say, your mental peace is more precious than people's opinions, we are pointing to one of the most freeing truths you will ever learn. A truth that can transform the way you live, the way you make decisions, the way you carry yourself in this world. You see, most people spend their entire life trapped inside an invisible prison built by the expectations, judgments, and opinions of others. They wake up worrying about what people will say. They speak with fear of being misunderstood. They make choices based not on what they want, but on what the world might think of them. And without realizing it, they sacrifice their inner peace in an attempt to satisfy outer voices that never stop talking. People's opinions are endless. One day they praise you, the next day they criticize you. One moment they celebrate your success, the next moment they question your choices. People have opinions even about your silence, your happiness, your friendships, your work, your lifestyle, your mistakes, your progress, your dreams, even your personality. If you keep shaping your life based on their comments, you will end up living a story that isn't yours. Here's something powerful. As you cannot control what people think, but you can control what you allow to disturb your peace. Peace is a treasure, a sacred space inside you that must be protected fiercely. But most people hand this treasure away too easily. They hand it to critics. They hand it to gossipers. They hand it to relatives who compare them. They hand it to friends who judge them. They hand it to strangers who say careless things. And slowly, their peace gets chipped away, piece by piece, until they feel empty from the inside. You must understand this truth deeply. Opinions are cheap. Anyone can have them. They require no effort, no knowledge, no wisdom, no understanding. Most people form opinions based on half stories, misunderstandings, insecurity, jealousy, or even entertainment. And yet, we give such opinions the power to disturb our mind, derail our day, and destroy our confidence. Ask yourself honestly, how many times have you ruined your own peace just because someone made a comment that didn't matter? How many nights have you stayed awake, replaying someone's words in your mind? How many dreams have you paused because you feared someone's judgment? How many times have you stayed silent just to avoid someone's criticism? This is the emotional price we pay when we give people's opinions more value than our mental well-being. Mental peace is not the absence of noise, it is the ability to stay centered, even when the world gets noisy. And you cannot stay centered if you keep bending yourself to please everyone. No matter what you do, someone will always have something to say. If you're quiet, they say you're arrogant. If you speak, they say you talk too much. If you succeed, they accuse you. If you struggle, they judge you. If you set boundaries, they call you selfish. If you give too much, they take you for granted. There is no winning in a game controlled by opinions. The only winning move is to stop playing. Your mental peace is priceless because it affects everything: your happiness, your relationships, your creativity, your decisions, your sleep, your health, your entire quality of life. When your mind is peaceful, even challenges feel manageable. When your mind is disturbed, even small issues feel overwhelming. That is why protecting your inner peace is not an option, it is a necessity. Protecting your peace doesn't mean ignoring everyone. It means choosing whose opinions actually matter. The opinion of someone who loves you, respects you, and understands you is different from the opinion of someone who barely knows you or doesn't genuinely care. Value the voices that add clarity, not the ones that add confusion. Protecting your peace also means not explaining yourself unnecessarily. You don't need to justify your boundaries. You don't need to explain your healing. You don't need to defend your choices to people who are determined to misunderstand you. Your life is not a courtroom. You are not here to win arguments. You are here to win inner freedom. And here's the beautiful part. When you stop chasing approval, you become more authentic. When you stop living for opinions, you start living for your purpose. When you stop letting people disturb your mind, you begin rising above their noise. The less you respond to negativity, the more powerful your peace becomes. People's opinions may follow you everywhere, but they don't own you. Your peace belongs to you. Your mind belongs to you. Your heart belongs to you. You are the only one who feels the weight of your thoughts at night, the only one who carries the consequences of your choices, the only one who walks your path every single day. So why should someone else's opinion have the authority to disturb the life that only you are living? Never forget, as peace is power, peace is clarity, peace is strength, peace is freedom. And the moment you place your peace above people's opinions, you reclaim control of your life. You stop bending. You stop breaking. You stop living small. You start living in alignment with your truth. And that is when life becomes lighter, clearer, and infinitely more beautiful.